When the Sahara was green, buried under the sands of the Sahara are hidden lost ancient civilizations. For example, the Nubian of Sudan, recently found. And we also know the fact that we have water erosion in the Sphinx and showing that it's much older than what archaeologists originally thought. This is what it would have looked like. The lake in the middle is the Great Chad Lake, and it would have had tremendous amount of clean water. Lake Chad, Lake Congo, as we can see. Also the fact that the ancient Sahara Seaway was on the area of the northwest section where Algiers is today. Scientists reveal first reconstructions of extinct species, computer mapping the Saharan Seaway. Waters in ancient trans-Saharan Seaway teemed with mollusks, giant sea snakes, and catfish. A new paper in the Bulletin of American Museum of Natural History describes the trans-Sahara Seaway that existed 50 to 100 million years ago in the region of the current Sahara Desert. The creatures living there were huge in comparison to their counterparts. The Sahara Desert was once underwater, in contrast to its present-day arid environment, and the dramatic difference over time recorded on the rock and fossil records of West Africa. The region bisected by shallow saltwater body during the time of high global sea level, and the bulletin paper presents analysis of expeditions led by O'Leary and rock exposures in the Sahara. Other strange maps here of Herodotus, 450 BC, shows that the Nile River was actually flowing from west to east, as you can see in this map, all across the northern part of Africa. Kindly support my Patreon account since YouTube has again demonetized my YouTube channel. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below. So this is the ancient Greek Herodotus' map. Obviously, this is their known world. We can see that it has a very strange direction. We know that today's Nile comes from the southern part of Africa and flows towards the north into the Nile, into the Mediterranean Sea. So all of this desert that we have today was actually lush and green, full of civilizations. Lake Chad, Mega Chad, Sahara, Africa, Herodotus, Lake Mega Chad and the rise of Egypt in the Ma civilization, the Northeast African origin, and Egyptian areas, the Negro Egyptian speaking probably originated in the Chad Basin near the Mega Chad Lake. During the Holocene, a giant lake known as Lake Mega Chad, LMC, extended over more than 350,000 square kilometers in southern Sahara. In fact, many Greek philosophers, included the father of European history, whom we'll literally refer to as Herodotus, attested to the fact that ancient Africa possesses an inland sea. The assertions by Herodotus and others were quickly dismissed until modern scientific methods via satellite imagery proved that yes, there is a lake in the middle of Africa. Now it's generally accepted that Lake Mega Chad once existed in ancient Ethiopia, which is just under Egypt as we know, and not Africa as we call her today. Ancient Africa was divided into 4 parts: Ethiopia proper, Ethiopia Inner, Ethiopia, Egypt, and the Atlantic Ocean used to be called the Sea of Ethiopia. In the eyewitness accounts attributed to Herodotus, he simply mistook Lake Mega Chad for an inland sea. But it was not just the Nile River that supplied water to this area. There's an ancient river system flowing under the Sahara Desert, and it would rank 12th largest drainage basin on Earth today. According to EcoWatch, researchers discovered the remains of vast ancient river systems using satellite imagery that ran through what is now known as the Sahara Desert. And the river system was so vast that if it were still flowing today, it would be ranked as the 12th largest drainage basin on Earth, according to Nature Communications. Radar images reveal ancient rivers once flowed through the Sahara Desert, and using these radar images taken from the Japanese Earth Observatory satellite, researchers found ancient riverbeds running from the middle of the Sahara to the Mauritanian coast in West Africa, which appear to have originated in the Atlas Mountains of Algiers to the north and the Hogar Mountains to the east. So it's not the first time someone suggested the Sahara was once wet and humid, and in fact teeming with life. In 1957, an expedition led by French ethnologist Henri Loit turned up cave paintings of giraffes and elephants, and since then scientists have postulated that the Sahara has alternated between wet and dry periods during the last 300,000 years, and as late as 7,000 years ago, cattle, sheep, and goats roamed over the green savanna of the Sahara. ILF Science explains, we now know that water once flowed through this extremely arid climate. The possibility that a river system once existed in the region first hinted at around 10 years ago, following the discovery of fine river sediment and a deep underwater canyon carved into the continental shelf off the coast of Mauritania. Direct evidence needed to confirm is lacking, though, and this time around scientists used orbital radar satellite imagery, allowing them to take images of the geology of the Sahara meters below the sandy surface using microwaves, and from this information, scientists could see the ancient riverbeds of the waterway, which incredibly matched up with the canyon off the coast. It's estimated that the river has been periodically flowing during what are called the African humid periods, AHPs, the last of which ended around 5,000 years ago, when the lush, wet, humid Sahara, which teemed with animals and life, turned into dry, dusty place we now know. So this was only about 5,000 years ago that the Sahara was lush and green, teeming with life. Now these switches between wet and dry periods are estimated to occur every 20,000 years or so as the Earth wobbles on its axis. Okay, so this is the Earth wobble that's causing this. Whether or not the ancient riverbeds beneath the desert will flow again during the next African humid period is difficult to determine, but as climate change is currently disrupting weather patterns and making things harder to predict, Russell Wynne at the National Oceanography Centre in UK was among researchers who found evidence of ancient river systems more than a decade ago, and he was involved in this study. Today, the Sahelian zone south of the Sahara Desert is under threat from desertification. Nearly 75% of African drylands are degraded, with fast-growing populations trying to eke out a living by farming or grazing herds on even less productive land. So this is happening from the African humid period. They say switches between wet and dry periods estimated to occur every 20,000 years or so as the Earth wobbles on its axis. Now the Saharan megalakes during the Holocene wet phase between 11,000 and 3,000 BC, 11,000 to 12 to 13,000 years ago, that reminds us again of the Younger Dryas comet asteroid impact event that really changed things geologically on Earth. Now, so 11,000 to 3,000 BC, the Sahara was far from the desert it is today, covered with grasslands and dotted with shallow lakes. Ancient humans used their waterways to travel through Africa with these ancient river systems. Its legacy remains today in rock art and dried riverbeds. Now, the humid African period started to a widespread settlement of the Sahara and the Arabian deserts, and profoundly influenced African cultures, of course, such as the origin of the pharaonic civilization. The humid African period ended about 5,000 years ago during the Peora Oscillation Cold Period. At that same time, some data pointed to a 5,500 year ago Sahel, Arabia, and East Africa. That's when it started changing. So, very strange, a lot of Earth changes in the past 5,000 years, as we can see. I'll leave links below for you for this. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support.